Hey, it's the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Beer Bash Johnson.
I just got real quick. I have a virtual cam thing for doing video on Discord while I'm streaming. I just gotta switch the video input real quick.
Oh, I feel you. I had to do the same thing.
Oh, God damn it. Alright, what the fuck is going on here?
I always go through this too.
Yeah, I chose the wrong source. There we go. Now it should work.
Hey, there it is. How you doing, man?
How are you guys? I'm doing decent. How are you guys doing tonight?
Oh, we're doing great. Here, I'm gonna turn you up a little bit. I had you down a little bit. Now we can hear you. Cool.
Sweet.
All right.
I think I'm gonna turn your audio up a little bit also.
There it is.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh man, you know what? I don't know if I should have jumped down this rabbit hole today, but I was just looking at different like debate videos with different people. I was watching this one Sam Cedar taking on a MRA guy.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was great.
Was it pain?
What's that?
Was it pain?
It was pain. It was pain. I was like, "Oh my god, this is horrible." And then MRAs are always like the most insufferable fucking people to deal with it. Oh yeah, and his arguments were just hideous. I was like, bro, like you can't even substantiate your argument. All you keep saying is there are some people that say. It's like, do you have studies? Like, can you show some scholarly papers? Anything, you know?
Yeah,
nope.
Can you like show anything that actually backs your fucking point, guy? Anything
Right.
at all? Shouldn't be that difficult.
Aside from the standard male victimhood and
yeah, those typical lines of bullshit.
Mm-hmm. And so I watched that and like it was on YouTube, so YouTube just keeps scrolling. I ended up watching that 3-hour debate with Destiny and Vaush, and like, holy crap, man! Like, by the time that shit was over,
one of the like 3-hour debates between Destiny and Vaush.
It was the one in February.
Oh, I can't even remember which one that was. I've lost track of them because they end up all becoming kind of the same thing. They get like heated about something. Destiny mauls a whole bunch and talks really fast, and I can't stand listening to that fucking guy.
You and me both. See, it's driving you to drink too. Oh, water.
Yeah, I'm gonna drink the whiskey though. The guy's such a fucking dickhead to people all the time for reasons that make no sense.
Wait, what does he classify himself as? Is he supposed to be like a sock dem or some shit, or what? Like, what is he? Because
I think now he unironically calls himself a neoliberal. But he used to.
Yeah.
He's always been like I'm a hardcore capitalist, blah blah blah, but he like argues for like some stuff that was considered socially progressive, and he would argue like well against these like super rightoid dickheads, but then it's just that he acts like such a fucking he's like real great at like shutting down terrible arguments from like racist scumbags and shit like that.
Right.
But then when he's dealing with leftists, he's just like he acts in such ridiculously bad fucking faith all the time.
Yeah, it's like, why are you shitting on your own? I mean, they're at least closer in ideology to you, you know? Like,
yeah, it's like you're more charitable to like rightoid scumbags than you are to lefties now, dude. And just how he like constantly picks a person to like he'll like pick a person to bully on Twitter, and then all of his like dildo fans will go bully the person and shit.
Yeah, I noticed that. I'm like, man, that's horrible, you know? But
it's really bad.
I do talk a lot about that, about how the left like cannibalizes itself, and we set up these horrible litmus tests for each other. It's a very unforgiving environment. If anybody, screws up, it's just like, I really.
There's all sorts of really cringe like purity testing and shit. Destiny's like barely even on the. He's not even really even on the left anymore. He's like a cringe centrist.
Right.
Like
I'm just left of center.
In the centrist shit.
Which means on the global spectrum, he's to the right.
Yeah. Yeah, like I wouldn't be surprised if he aligns pretty closely with like CDU or some shit in the context of German politics.
I could see it. Oh man. I was watching that thing about the gymnast today on the hearing with the gymnast today. Holy
that
shit. That was
heavy. That shit was like so twisted, and that shit was like so fucking twisted and fucked up. It's so fucking disgusting how as a society like we like failed those gymnasts so hideously.
Oh yeah. And the thing that just like blew my mind about that whole thing was that the FBI agent that was investigating was soliciting the U.S. Olympic Committee for a job, and that's part of the reason why it got
like
swept under the rug.
Yeah, it's such an obvious conflict of interest. Like, how could anybody fucking defend that? I think it's a good time to take a dab because that shit's enraging.
Yeah, I agree. It's a dabbing time.
I got such a good deal on this shit that is like so fucking delicious and saucy.
Oh yeah? What you got? What's it called?
It says vanilla wafers.
That sounds tasty. I had this stuff
it's fucking delicious.
I had this stuff a while back. It was flour, and it was called cream soda, and the shit did taste like cream soda. It was really, really good.
Nice.
Yeah, I had never, like, I've always had strains where it's like, oh yeah, I could kind of see how somebody says it tastes like this or tastes like that, you know? But this was like the first time where I was like, this tastes just like cream soda, like so uncanny. I was like, this can't even be, you know? But sure enough, we have this dispensary here called Harvest, and they have some of their own line that they just started doing. And because before they were just selling a lot of like the cookies stuff out of California. And then they started kind of doing a little bit more of their own grows and stuff, and they do really well, and they're fairly reasonably priced. Like their like top tier stuff is cheaper than most of the top tier stuff, and it's just as good. So I'm like, sweet.
I can't wait for New York's recreational dispensaries to finally be open. It's taking them forever to set the whole thing up. It is legal here now, though.
Yeah, it's, you know, it was kind of a mess when Arizona did it, when we went from medical to recreational. It was like,
Arizona
holy
has
shit.
Recreational cannabis now?
Oh yeah, we've had it for a little over a year.
Oh, that's really cool. I had no idea that was the case in Arizona. I figured Arizona was still being dicks about it because, you know, Arizona's government can tend to be dicks about stuff sometimes.
Oh, well, it's interesting because it's like, it's really weird. It's I would say Arizona is probably more libertarian than it is like traditional conservative Republican.
Yeah.
So like stuff like personal
Makes
freedoms.
sense that there's a lot of like libertarian party like gun nut type people that like live out in the sticks there.
Oh yeah, and it's just so obviously, you know, any personal freedoms, you know, smoke weed, guns, you know, all that stuff, that's all fair game until you get to abortion. There's still people trying to overturn abortion, you know, Roe v. Wade stuff here, and it's like, how are you so libertarian about like smoking weed and all this other shit, and then like that you're gonna be like, nope, can't do that.
Well, because they're fucking brainwashed. It's fucking ridiculous. Like, I know CTV's from Florida, but I would not be surprised at all if, like, CTV was from Arizona.
He would fit in.
Yeah, he would definitely fit in.
I told him on the stream. I'm like, dude, we're the Florida of the West, you know? So, like...
Yeah, I think I remember that.
True story, too. Florida has the Florida Man, and we have Arizona Karens. Like most of the Karens you hear about are from Arizona. That lady that was walking around the grocery store in where was it, Nebraska, I think it was, or Oklahoma, where she was like coughing on the fruit and vegetables and coughing on people. Yeah, she was from Scottsdale, Arizona. Yep, and she lost her job over that shit too, which I thought was classic. I'm like, that's what you get.
At least you. Yeah, at least that's some shit where you're like kind of asking to lose your job if you're gonna do that.
Yeah, for sure. It doesn't fare very well in the public eye when the company has to explain why one of their executives is out doing stupid shit like that, you know, like.
Yeah, it looks really bad.
Sometimes I wonder, like, what they're thinking, you know, like, did they ever consider the possibility, like, that they might not want to do that, you know, like, like, what, like, they're very short-sighted.
It's a really fucking stupid idea to do something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, okay, let's just go, you know, like, cough on people. And she's like, she looked like she was probably in her, like, late 40s, early 50s or something. And it's like, you'd think by that age you'd be past doing some dumb shit like that, you know? I hope I'm not still doing those, like, childhood antics type shit, you know, when I'm that age.
Yeah, same here. That's just like... It didn't have to be this way. Like, the Republicans are the ones who chose to so heavily politicize the COVID-19 crisis the way they fucking did.
You know, and you know what though, I will admit there were some people that kind of poisoned the well a little bit. So like when Kamala Harris came out and was like, "Oh yeah, if it's Trump's vaccine, I'm not going to take it," you know, and then she gets into office and then they're advocating for it, and it's like, no, give him the win on this for one reason, because you'll get people to take the damn vaccine, you know? And instead what happened, because they didn't give him the win, then he turned around and was like, "Yeah, you don't need the vaccine. You don't need it. Yeah, blah, blah, blah." And he went for months like that, you know?
Done that anyway, even if they gave him the win, though, because, you know, he's Donald Trump, and he's Donald Trump. He is a sleazy bastard. What the fuck is wrong with this NPC? Why does he appear to be like... This guy's like stuck here. What the hell?
Oh,
I hopped on some Guild Wars. Yeah, I hopped on some Guild Wars while we're chatting.
Oh.
Guild Wars 2 is the best MMO. I will stand Guild Wars 2 over all the other MMOs because it is... there's like some expansion shit that you gotta buy if you want it, but the like base game and the first one of his expansions, Heart of Thorns, is like completely free to play now. And originally it used to be like a one-time payment and you didn't have to pay a fucking subscription, unlike World of Douchecraft.
Oh yeah, I got sucked into that. I got sucked into that for a while, man.
Yeah, I never got it. I got into the original Guild Wars when I was a kid, and and when I tried World of Warcraft after I had played Guild Wars, I was like, why is this so popular? I just like didn't get it for some reason.
I think for
Guild
me,
Wars is and Guild Wars, like the original Guild Wars, like graphically looked better than World of Warcraft did back then too.
Oh really? Yeah, I got into.
Oh yeah.
I got into World of Warcraft pretty late into like it being out, because I was actually working at a job, and like some of the guys who were like stoners like me, they're like, "Hey dude, we have a World of Warcraft like
nice
clan or whatever, I forgot what the hell they call it, but they had like a group anyways, and they're like, "Hey, you know, come and do the thing with us." And I'm like, "I don't know shit about this, but all right, you know." So I got myself an undead rogue and just started building the character, you know, and like have fun with it. But you know, like it really,
it's always nice when you can find a group. World of Warcraft isn't like terrible. It's just like it always kind of blew my mind that they get people to pay subscriptions for it.
Yeah, I'm not good with that shit.
Yeah, subscriptions are fucking ridiculous.
That's what kind of ended it for me.
It's about to attack us. Oh. But I
got
inaccurate with my casting.
I got a homie saying too much fantasy RPG spam. I like Star Citizen. And he's like, please don't ban me.
It's also really fucking cool. I play Star Citizen on occasion. I haven't played it much in a while because it was on the settings I used to use. It was just like for streaming. It was too brutal on my fucking old ass computer.
Yeah.
It's like a brutal game on fucking CPUs and video cards and really everything, and especially you like need an SSD for it to run properly. It like straight up will not run correctly if you try to play it from a hard disk.
Oh shit. Like that,
yeah.
huh?
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous.
It's
really awesome though.
I just dropped into started playing that new Psychonauts 2 game. I honestly really like it. It's very cartoony.
I've never played either of the Psychonauts games.
I didn't play the first one. As a matter of fact, like I kind of make a joke out of it because I'll just put whatever game. I'll just be like, hey guys, pick a game and I'll play it because I really kind of suck at video games, but I'm very tenacious, so I'll just keep dying and keep playing. You know, like it don't matter. So
that's how I get with some of the like more ridiculously difficult games like that I play. And especially it was like that when I first got into sim racing, because when you first get into sim racing, you're gonna crash like all the fucking time.
Yeah, oh, I'm sure, because everything's so sensitive compared to like probably a lot of the other like racing games you play, like
Need for Speed and shit.
Yeah.
Like the more arcade titles.
I used to play Forza a little bit.
Forza and Gran Turismo games are really sick. And they're a great gateway into the like extremely sweaty sims for people that get into them.
Oh yeah. So you gotta be pushing a lot of computing power to play those too though, right?
Yeah, I don't understand how the hell my computer streams iRacing as well as it does, because I built this thing back in like 2012.
Holy shit. That's a computer with some longevity.
The video card's newer, but I like really push this computer to its fucking limit on a regular basis.
Let's see if we can overclock it just a little more. Let's squeeze a little bit more. Here, let's put a fan right there, right next to it. I had one I had to do that with, actually.
I did have to replace the fan on the thing eventually with this really brutal fan. It's this Cooler Master fan that's like fucking giant. This giant lizard thing that is like trying to kill us is absolutely terrifying. Guild Wars 2 monsters are like actual fucking nightmare fuel in a lot of scenarios.
Oh yeah, they're pretty vicious looking.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for horror and gore and stuff like that, so I probably really like it.
Oh yeah, Guild Wars 2 is fucking great if you're ever thinking about trying out a fantasy MMO. And
I do enjoy those too.
It replaces like traditional questing formats with like a much more like dynamic event system where you're interacting with like a persistent world. And then there's things like parts of like what's your like personal story quest that's where it's like instanced story modes that you can only play by yourself, but which those are things that help that fuck, I'm really blitzed.
That one gotcha.
Yeah.
You know what? I haven't done a regular dab in a while. I keep hitting my G-Pen connector, my Puffco, but I'm going to do a regular dab. Shit.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, these things just make it so easy when I'm streaming because, like, the sound of the torch, you know, gets kind of loud and all that shit. So, like, I'm always like, all right, well, I'll just use these guys. And plus, I'm really clumsy, so I'm always knocking shit over. And I'm like, I'm just going to try to do this and end up knocking everything off my desk. So,
next door in... Wait, does Arizona directly border California at all? I can't remember.
Yep, we border California, Mexico, Utah,
and New Mexico, right?
Yep. And Nevada.
Yeah, fucking... Yeah, so what's your opinion on California's, like, extremely futile recall attempt?
Oh,
hey, what's good,
man.
Sage?
Oh, that shit was so funny. I mean, I knew Larry Elder wasn't going to pull that shit out, but I also think Gavin Newsom's a piece of shit. So, like...
Yeah, he's like a sleazeball. He's like a sleazeball. It's just probably preferable to have him to Larry Elder's level of just being a fucking jerk-off.
Yeah.
Like...
Well, I mean, Larry Elder is just completely incompetent and out of his fucking mind, you know? Like, that's kind of the difference.
He's a jerk-off.
Like, I can say Gavin Newsom's corrupted, but at least he's smart and corrupted, you know? Like,
yeah.
He does exercise some self-preservation. He understands he wants to have a longer career, you know, so...
Yeah, he's not just like some talk show grifter. These media personalities that try to like jump into politics, I am always extremely sus of. I think they're so shady. I'm always just like, dude, you need to like...
Well, they're never acting in good... They're never doing it in good faith, because the way that they learn to like approach anything is like, how can I attract viewers, right? Because they're media personalities, you know? So all they know is like all that stochastic kind of shit. You know, they don't know like, you know, like they don't take into account what the severity of the actions could be for the words that they actually put out into the atmosphere. You know what I mean? Like Trump's a prime example of that. You know, he thought that he was doing good because he was getting people to watch him on television because he was the center of the, you know, news cycles and shit. And that's what he thought was good. So he was like, I don't care if it's good publicity, bad publicity, whatever. But this is the way media people think.
It feeds off of attention.
Yeah. And that's the way media people think, because that's what they're trained to do. That's their job, you know? Whereas like somebody who actually is a serious politician and gives a shit even a little, even a modicum, you know, cares about carrying on a career in it, you know, knows you have to be a little bit more hedgy, and you have to be smarter with, you know, your verbiage and what you're going to say to people and how you're going to, you know, motivate them and move them, you know? Although we've had some pretty psychotic straight up politicians too. No lie there.
Oh, I needed that sip of water. Fuck, my brain is melted. That
last one grabbed you, huh?
Yeah.
I'm about to have the same effect. So what about aliens, man? What do you think? You think there's aliens that have been here?
Somewhere. The like one thing that's like especially weird is the whole deal how what the fuck am I saying?
No, something about aliens.
Yeah.
Something that's especially weird about aliens.
The whole deal how like there most certainly like has been at some point some other intelligent life in the universe like us. However, because the universe is so vast and has existed for so long, who knows? It Hey, what's up, Mike Lightyear? Yeah, I'm pretty blessed. But yeah, where the fuck was I going with that again? There's like the possibility that like there have been tons of others that have existed, just they existed sometime completely out of our era. That's another thing. Like, imagine if we pick up some signal that could like be some sort of transmission that's from some like place that's like extremely far away. Like when you're looking at stars and whatnot that are like X numbers of light years away, or seeing that star as it was X number of years ago.
Right.
So like think like really, really far observable objects from Earth, we're seeing them as they appeared literally like 100 million fucking years ago. We're like staring back at a time. So there's a chance that we could receive some like weird. There's a chance that we could receive some like weird radio transmission that was like from some intelligent life form like us that was like fucking around with radio and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it would be from like hundreds of millions of years ago.
So do you think they've actually touched Earth, though? Do you think they've ever been here?
I don't think so. I've like looked into the ancient astronauts theory, and I'm just not convinced. I'm just not convinced compared to like, especially when it comes to like certain things about how like aliens helped like build the pyramids and stuff, and it's like, no, we were just willing to use like disgusting amounts of human labor to complete like ridiculous monuments for an extremely long time.
Yeah, and those people doing that work were extremely intelligent engineers too, and they discount the fact that people in the ancient world did have engineers and there were smart people. Just because war has dilapidated these structures and made them look ancient, it doesn't mean that a lot of the features and technological and architectural advancements within aren't still relevant right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
But people always want to put it off on, oh, it must have been aliens, instead of just saying, hey, you know what? There were people in this other country several hundred years ago, maybe 1,000 years ago, whatever, that were able to accomplish these great engineering feats. And just appreciate that, you know, like maybe you didn't have all the machinery, but that doesn't mean that there wasn't advancements happening, you know, or that there couldn't be civilized societies that understood like basic engineering and, you know, structure building, you know.
Yeah, yeah, that's one thing where I start finding like ancient astronaut theories to start just kind of like not really. Like they just discount like so much of human the way in which humans and our natural curiosity about things has always the way in which our natural curiosity about things as humans has driven us to accomplish some pretty absurd shit, like figuring out how to like run electrical current through metal in ways that like plays video games for us.
Right, exactly. You hit the nail on the head. It's we should think more about, you know, our ability as humans, you know. I don't know if aliens have been here or not, but I think it's an interesting thought to toy with. I think some of like the aliens guy, you know, off like History Channel, I think he gets
George Sucos.
Yeah, he gets out there, man. I'm like, man, I don't know about all that. But
that guy's funny. He's like, I think the stuff he's pushing is a little ridiculous, but he's also just like he's such an interesting character.
He is. I like watching him just kind of because he's bizarre, you know?
You ever see that like weird show that was on fucking Viceland that was like the whole show was literally like Action Bronson and his friends getting really high and watching Ancient Aliens?
No, but I'd totally watch that.
Yeah, I watched the first few episodes of it, and it was pretty fucking hilarious, honestly. And then it just, I don't know, it just like seemed to kind of get old after a little bit, but they like sit in front of a green screen while they're watching it, and then every now and then they just get like digitally inserted into the video.
Woo! Sorry, that was a good one.
No worries. Oh, what's attacking me? Oh, this thing.
Mike, I sound like a robot because I am a robot. A dab-fueled robot, baby.
I was smoking flowers again for a little while, and that's part of the reason why my brain is like just why my brain is getting melted by dabs.
Oh man, I have to take a tolerance break once in a while. I'll take like a few days off.
I feel that.
Just so that, because otherwise, you know, I start burning through all my shit so quick because I'm like,
Yeah,
oh yeah, I
exactly.
built up a tolerance. Let's go, baby. You know, so I'm like, screw this. What's this rare earth stuff?
Oh.
I got somebody posting something about rare earth. What's this all about? Rare earth hypothesis. Huh. In planetary astronomy and astrobiology, the rare earth hypothesis argues that the origin of life and the evolution of biological complexity, such as sexually reproducing multicellular organisms on Earth and subsequently human intelligence, required an improbable combination of astrophysical and geological events and circumstances. According to the hypothesis, complex extraterrestrial life is an improbable phenomenon and likely to be rare throughout the universe as a whole. The term rare earth originates from Rare Earth, Why Complex Life is Uncommon in the Universe, a book by Peter Ward, a geologist and paleontologist, and Donald E. Brownlee, an astronomer and astrobiologist, both faculty members at the University of Washington. Interesting.
Damn. This one friend of mine used to subscribe to this subscription service called, like, Gaia.
Oh, yeah, I remember Gaia. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I remember I was just watching it, and I was like, wait, you actually pay for this stuff? Because it was just like, it was that seemed kind of interesting, but was just also, like, kind of ridiculous. We got into it, like, sacred geometry.
Yeah.
And I, like, geometry is just geometry, bro. What's so sacred about it? I don't really get your point here.
But
like, yeah, geometry can be really, really fucking trippy, but I am just like a person who is not a believer in the supernatural, really.
Oh, you're preaching to the choir here, bro. I'm the same way. Like, people talk to me about, oh, there's ghosts. I'm like, where? I've never seen a ghost. Show me a ghost. Let's go to the most haunted place you know, and I'll run through there and act like a maniac and see if I see a ghost. And I've never seen one.
And my mom used to love watching these ridiculous shows on Travel Channel where it was like people going to places that wasn't even like ghost hunters or anything. It was people going to places that were supposedly haunted and running around in the dark with night vision cameras right in their faces screaming about stuff.
I heard a noise.
I'm just like, this is... I would sit there and be like, yeah, this is like actually so fucking stupid.
They don't give a shit though. They're just trying to get viewers. They'll do whatever they can, you know. And you know, every time I see this shit, I'm like, you guys are playing this shit up so much, dude. You're playing it up so much, you know.
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. One person that I didn't really like watching much until I started watching Denims was Gordon Ramsay. Now, I'll only ever watch Gordon Ramsay's stuff when Denims is playing it so he could yap about Gordo and other people on the show being jackasses.
They are, though. Like, Gordon Ramsay goes hard, too, man. You don't fuck around. I actually like him for that, though. But, like, if you ever see the one where he does the cooking show with kids, he's, like, so affable and, like, perfectly
he's like
nice.
Really good with the kids for sure.
Yeah, maybe he's just one of those folks that hates adults and loves kids. You know.
Yeah, fucking. What's the Hell's Kitchen is like the Hell's Kitchen was like the one that I was never that into, but Kitchen Nightmares is fucking great.
Yeah, that's the one where they go into the people's kitchens and like redo the restaurant.
It's when they go into these restaurants that are like, it was when they go, yeah, it's the one where they go into restaurants that are like completely fucked and on the verge of dying, and the owners are often just these like total incompetent dumbasses. Hence why I know that collective ownership, like worker co-ops, aren't like a perfect thing and whatnot. They're gonna have their own problems, but like, Jesus Christ, I feel like people might have a little bit more incentive to not just like totally tank something if they're all collectively owning it, and the people that like are part of the collective worker ownership are going to be able to like have the motivation to not like lose their fucking living.
Right. Well, and that there's definitely some real truth in that, because a lot of times when I watch those shows like those, or like Bar Rescue is another one, there's always like a couple like.
God, I hate the Bar Rescue guy.
Oh, me too. John Taffer is despicable. He's horrible.
He is a despicable human being.
But
he's just especially bad.
But what I noticed in those is there's always like one or two people that are like employees that are like, dude, I don't understand why they're tanking this business, and they're doing everything they can to try to like keep it from falling apart while the owners are screwing it all up. And it's like, you're right. If it was a worker co-op situation, those people would actually be able to save the business, even when the owners are screwing off, well, because they don't have ownership.
Yeah, at least there's the potential that they're not going to be like completely stuck with oh, what's the fucking word I'm looking for?
You'll get it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to... Oh, it's difficult to put some of these words into English, and I'm not a fucking economist either. I'm not an expert on this shit. Yeah, just like some people write off worker co-ops like too quickly. It's like there are very few like issues with worker co-ops that aren't like also present, but often even worse with like privately held firms or even like state held enterprises.
Oh, sure. There's I think we have like a produce co-op, or we did have a produce co-op here in Tempe.
I'm sorry, I just got a raid. Pickle Limes, thank you very much for raiding. I greatly appreciate it, comrade. Those of you who just came over from the Pickle Lime stream, I'm b33rbashjawnson. I greatly appreciate it, Pickle Lime, for raiding. I hope you'll enjoy hanging out. I'm just talking with Comrade Jason Society just about all sorts of shit while we get really stoned and shit.
Ta-da. And equally thanks for the raid, because that's cool. Bringing more people into the fold.
Yeah, I hope you guys have been having a wonderful night. Pickle Lime, I hope you had yourself a wonderful, wonderful stream. Yeah, young, what is it, young China Savage? I've raided Shark and Sond plenty of times. Did you ever? I remember, Jason, you were talking about like, or one of your chat comrades was hanging out in my chat. Young China Savage, thank you very much for dropping the follow. I greatly appreciate it. One of your comrades said you were like thinking about talking to some tankies on Politically Provoked. Did you ever end up doing that?
I did not. I was warned against going on Politically Provoked.
Probably for the better. Yeah, that place just seems to bring about this like endless cesspool of like fucking political disease for everybody who like ends up getting within any remote contact on that thing. Young Savage says the only tanky on Politically Provoked is Infrared. Yeah, and Infrared is easily just like one of the most ridiculously fucking toxic people on the internet too.
Yeah, I was actually watching him and a Superpower broadcast on there, and that's why I was like, whoa, dude, these guys are freaking nuts, man. Because they were both going off, dude. It's like screaming at each other, and I'm like, I can't even.
Hans literally is incapable of like actually speaking to people. He's always just like, soy!
Well, it's not very, like, I mean, this is actually the first time I've encountered like a really, really like hardcore somebody calling themselves an alpha male and being on the left, and he's just like, I am alpha male left.
He's like so ridiculous about that shit.
I mean, I get it though, because he's just playing the same.
Zoomer, thank you very much for dropping a follow. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're good. He's just playing the same role that the right plays. You know, he's just flipping it on him. You know. I don't always agree with his arguments or anything, but I'll give him that. Like, I get what he's doing, like what the aim is, you know,
Just
totally
like
flip
he's
it
a
on him.
living meme. He's fucking ridiculous.
Oh, Mike says.
And what's up?
Oh, Mike was just saying he refers to himself as an alpha dominant male. Sorry, I got it wrong. Not just an alpha male, alpha dominant male.
That's like such a masturbatory thing to refer to yourself as.
Right?
Like,
Not
it's
based.
fucking ridiculous. A fallen adventurer's backpack. Is that a skin, or is that actually like an increased size backpack?
Don't worry, I wasn't running out on our date.
No worries.
Stop by the kids, stop by the dog. Oh, the dad life.
My grandparents used to breed German shepherds in the past, and so we still have 2 German shepherds here.
Oh,
we
yeah.
also have 5 ducks.
Wow, and the dogs haven't gone after the ducks, huh? Well, ducks can
No,
be
the ducks-
pretty mean too, though, huh?
The ducks have their own little enclosure, and the dogs have like their enclosure outside that they spend a lot of the day in too.
Oh, gotcha. Like a little dog run or something like that.
Yep.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm in I live in like a Cracker Jack box. My house is like maybe 800 square feet. so it gets us out a little bit more, because I had a house before this I was renting, and it was a relatively big place and had a big backyard, but because of that we didn't walk as much because there wasn't the necessity, you know. She'd go in the backyard, do her thing, chase after birds, leave birds on my doorstep. I can't hear you. Did we lose Beer Bash? Whoa, weird. Hang on. I'm going to go out and go back in. Every once in a while this does this. I see it do it to people in the middle of the panel too. You'll see them have to hop out and come back in. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, there we go.
That was very strange. I am very curious as to what just happened.
You know what? That's happened. I've seen that happen to people on the panel too. When I'll go on the Prime walk-ons, I see that happen a lot.
Discord can do some fucking weird shit sometimes.
Oh,
I don't fucking get it. I don't know why Discord can be such a pain in the ass.
it is a.
Oh, cool. I was just making sure I didn't drop out again, did I?
Oh, no. No, it is useful though, and for being free, like I ain't necessarily mad at it, but you know, yeah, I mean, it sucks when that shit happens, especially when you got a bunch of people like listen. It's like, hey, oh, there it went.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I can't hear anybody anymore. See you guys later. Oh, damn it.
Fucking technology always finding ways to dick us over in unforeseeable manners.
I know. Fuck technology, but also like we need it.
Let's become anarcho-primitivists. I'm kidding. Anarcho-primitivism can be kind of manka sometimes.
Just go for it, man. Like, we'll just get caves and, you know, like hunt animals with like spears and shit. Like, you know, just go back to the root.
God, what is all this wild shit that keeps coming at everybody? This is a fucking area for max level people, though, so it makes sense.
So they're putting work in on you. They're putting work in on you.
Yeah, I saw in your Twitter bio that you're a musician. Did we talk about this the last time? I already forget because I was really faded that night.
We may have. No, the whole Jason Society premise came about because I was in a band, and within that group of people, we were reading a lot about like conspiracy theories and aliens and shit like that. And the Jason Society, or Jason Scholars, was a group of scientists and philosophers and thought leaders that the government had supposedly gathered together to figure out the alien question, and if they determined there were aliens, to figure out an appropriate way to cover it up. So some conspiracies say. There is proof that there was like a Jason group or Jason Scholars group that did like do some contracting for the government, like consultation type stuff, but what that was, I don't know, and
not surprising me.
And again, that's why I don't like, I kind of moved out of all that conspiracy theory shit, because like it came down to this, like I could never, like there was all this circumstantial evidence, but I'm somebody where like I need something solid, like I come from a family of like people who are attorneys and shit like that, and like you look at the evidence, you know what I mean? And it's like, you're not presenting me with any smoking gun, dude. Like there's nothing here. Like it's just, oh no, but then there's this document and this could mean this, it's like, but it could also mean a million other things. It's like mostly redacted, like what are you talking about, or it's from an unreliable source or some shit like that. And it's like,
oh yeah.
So it's like you just keep going down that rabbit hole. And I was like, what?
Really unreliable resources.
Yeah, none of this makes any sense. I can't make it make sense. So like, I'm out, And so I just more or less, I do like kind of dispelling some of those conspiracy theories and being like, no, this is why that's totally not going to work. Why that doesn't make any sense.
This is why this is bullshit.
Yeah, exactly.
Drinking Zoomer, thanks a lot for dropping by with that raid. Thanks a lot for dropping the follow. You have yourself a wonderful night, comrade.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, like, I hope we can make contact with aliens someday. I just don't think we have, and there's some big secret we're hiding about it yet.
I also think that if we did make contact with aliens, like, think about it. Like, they'd be, like, apex predators compared to us. You know what I mean? Like, we could look like food, or our planet could look more suitable to them. I don't think that aliens would come here.
Galactic Civilizations 3.
What's that?
Have you ever heard of this game called Galactic Civilizations 3?
No.
In Galactic Civilizations 3, there's like the players, and then there's these like random bot civilizations that are really small on like, it's kind of like Sid Meier's Civilization, although despite the closest in titles, there's no like connection between the game or its developers. Other than that, it's like a 4X strategy game played on a hex map, turn-based. But yeah, there will be these like minor civilizations that are pre-hyperspace that you can't communicate with and just exist. That's basically us right now.
Yeah, exactly.
If there's any like aliens that are good enough at spacefaring to like find us, because we sure as hell know they're nowhere close to here.
Yeah.
It'll take some serious technology to be able to like do exploration to make contact with us.
Yeah, and if they did, they just plunder our resources and make us their pets.
Yeah. Yeah, in the worst case scenario. Hopefully we would meet ones that aren't like that wouldn't be like that, but you can't count on it.
Well, even the well-meaning ones. I mean, look, we thought zoos and these marine parks were a good thing at one time, that we were helping these animals, and now we realize how horrible it is, and like,
yeah,
and, like, so that could be us, we'd just be like Shamu, we'd be stuck in these tanks.
Yeah, fuck that.
But we feed it.
Yeah, that would be fucking
we feed
terrible.
it. We let it have exercise. Jump, Jason, jump through the hoop.
Did I just get... How did I just get teleported to where I just got... Well, this is a little weird. Oh, I'm gonna fall to my death. Rip. Oh, well. Shit happens sometimes. But,
My favorite part of playing Borderlands 3 is dying. You can die so many cool ways in that game.
There's a Borderlands 3 now. That's right. I forgot about that.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
I haven't played it yet.
I haven't gotten through all of the classes. I've only gotten through a couple of them. But the ones I've played are super good. It's just me. Oh, you're good. It's just a fun game. Like because it is so like out of control, and like it's like there's a lot of tongue-in-cheek comedy and shit like that, but it's also brutal, you know.
Yeah.
So I like that kind of shit.
Yeah, those are fucking dank. Oh, what the fuck was I doing again? Oh yeah, I already know that recipe. I'm just gonna destroy that. Fallen Adventure's backpack contains a bunch of shit I don't fucking need.
Noms. I love Snoop Dogg wine.
Is that what you're drinking, Snoop Dogg wine?
Yeah, look.
Oh, nice.
Gotta represent the West Coast. That's how we roll. No, it's fairly cheap and it's pretty decent.
Oh, dank.
It's like I think $12 a bottle or something. So you know, it's not bad. And
not that bad at all.
And it tastes great. And a bottle of this shit gets you feeling pretty nice. You know, feel pretty good.
5 lost arms of a verdant hero. Oh, it contains bonus airship parts. Ooh. Yeah, I mostly drink like beer or whiskey. I've never been much of a wine person, but sometimes I like it with like steak and stuff.
The only reason I started drinking it is because I ended up, as I got older, you know, like how you can develop allergies and shit.
Yeah.
I developed an allergy to brewer's yeast.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, so I still drink beer, but like when I do, like I get all swollen up and I always feel like shit the next day. But so I have to make sure I save it for the weekend. And there's a couple out there that I can get by with. Like for some reason, Stella doesn't mess with me as much as other beers do. And I can do ciders because a lot of ciders they don't use the brewer's yeast in. So I'll get down on some ciders quite a bit too. But yeah, it's everyone because like on a hot day, I don't know, man. Like, and like that was the thing. Like after I found out that, then like it was like
Stella Artois.
It was like, oh shit, you're not really gonna be able to drink much beer anymore. I was so pissed off because on a hot day, cracking open a nice cold one, oh, especially when they're
it's
frosty
awesome.
cold, yeah, it's the tastiest thing ever, dude. So I afford myself that luxury. I just make sure I have a day to recover now, you know.
My dad just like completely stopped drinking altogether because he is AFib.
Oh shit.
He has atrial fibrillation, so he doesn't get episodes of it very often, but he like just recently read something that some study showed that it could like make AFib episodes like worse if you drink. So my dad's just like not. He was never super. He just liked to have like a cold beer every now and then, but he's just not going to drink beer anymore because of it. I don't blame him.
Yeah, I mean, better be safe than sorry, especially when it comes to your heart, man. Like that's no joke.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Oh, where the fuck is... Why am I having, like, the hardest fucking time finding a goddamn merchant to go to? The hell? Looking all over the map for a fucking place that has a merchant to teleport to, and I'm just gonna teleport back to the fucking...
That just sounds like when we first got dispensaries in Arizona because they were so far apart and so few of them.
Yeah, sometimes I'm originally from Pennsylvania. In Pennsylvania, it's going to be such a pain in the ass to get recreational weed there. The Pennsylvania, like the hillbilly lobby and their like super conservative pull on politics is very, very infuriating. Regardless of who controls the governor's office, the state legislative districts are grossly gerrymandered in their favor.
Oh yeah, yeah, I could see that. I know some people from Pennsylvania, and they're like more liberal people, or more to the left, and they can't stand it. They're like, dude, there's like within the state we can't get anything done, and I'm like, that sucks.
Yeah, Pennsylvania politics are a total fucking shit show.
I feel that though.
It's really bad.
AZ is the same way. I mean, we got you got to remember that even though we have a mostly Democratic delegation to the Capitol, when it comes to our state politics and our local politics, it's all Republicans that run shit. And a lot of these guys are QAnon people, like Karen Fan, that was actually the one that like allowed for this cyber ninja shit to happen, and has been advocating for it.
That's right. That was in Arizona. Yeah, that cyber ninjas shit is so utterly fucking ridiculous to me.
Oh, you have no idea. Even the crazy people on the right here that were all for it in the beginning are finally now being like, this is a shit show. I can't believe I attached my name to this.
Yeah, like this is a fucking grift.
Yeah.
Like it's such an obvious fucking grift. It's ridiculous.
Hey, now to be loved. Thanks for showing up. It's been a while.
It was such an obvious fucking confidence trick. It was so absurd.
Yeah, and the guy doesn't know what the hell he's doing. It's one guy you can literally call, like go on the website and pull the number up and call it and hit any of the extensions you go to, goes to the owner's voicemail box. Like they have they have an HR number, they have like a tech support, like all these different things, and they all go to his mailbox.
To that guy's fucking voicemail. That's really funny.
And we're trusting this guy with our voting machines,
Yeah, what an incompetent jerk off. I can't believe people would take a guy like that seriously.
Yeah. It's pretty hilarious though. Like I gotta admit, like, when you can't do anything about it, all you can do is toss your hands up and just be like, you know what? It is what it is. It's a shit show. That's what it is. It's just a shit show, And so instead of getting mad about it, because I mean, obviously I always fight for and advocate for change and, demonstrate and, do all the rest too. But a part of it is you kind of gotta, in order to cope, you gotta lampoon the shit and just be like, this is ridiculous. These people are freaking crazy. I can't even believe how crazy these people are. It's just, toss your hands up, because yeah. I mean,
the way in which that the American political right has gone about just completely constructing this alternate reality for themselves and burying their head in the sand relating to anything else that doesn't confirm that bias is really fucking scary and is going to have like long-lasting implications for American politics. It's really bad.
Yeah, it is. And you know what? They think I don't even think that they're convinced they're saving the country. I think they're convinced that they're going to do whatever is politically expedient, and they don't care. It doesn't matter to them because they never have to deal with the material effects of their actions. They go, they can, if they don't like what they've done in a state, they can move out of that state. If they don't like what's happening in their country, they literally, a lot of them can move out of the country, or they can stay here and they've got enough political influence and monetary influence to change things, And of course they're going to do it to their own behest. They're not going to do anything to help other people. They've proven that, and that's the sad part. Like, you have a very few small collected group of politicians in any level, whether you're talking about local, state, or federal, that really care and really want to make positive change, and those are the principled ones. Sometimes you'll see them cross back and forth, as far as being able to work with people, but typically they're going to stand by their principles, and unless you're willing to go all the way with them, they're not going to want to like really do that. Like there's been a couple things like I didn't really mind when they did that what was it, sentencing reform under Trump?
Yeah, I think so.
And like, so I didn't mind that they worked that out and got you know, got a deal with Trump to do that. It was good for people. It got quite a few people out of jail and prison, you know, and reduced sentences for a lot of people. So great, you know. Why would I be mad at that? You know, but you're not going to find that all the time though. You know, most people are, like, you have too many people that want to stoke the fire just because they're like, well, I got to run for election in 2 years. You know?
Yeah, and there's too many people among the populace who think that like the purpose of prison is to treat them like they're subhuman, to punish them for a perceived wrongdoing, even though such enormous numbers of our prisoners are imprisoned for like the opposite of violent crimes,
non-violent drug offenses.
Bullshit. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. At one point, I think they said that represented like 80% of the prison population. 70%. It's like non-violent drug offenders.
And shitloads of people that get like court systems get backlogged. Shitloads of people will be stuck in shitloads and shitloads of people will be stuck in the fucking will be stuck in prisons awaiting will be like like shitloads of people that are imprisoned or people like awaiting trial that can't afford to make bail and shit like that.
Well, yeah, there was that kid stuck up in Rikers who he was there for 2 years awaiting trial because he couldn't make bail.
They accused him of stealing a backpack, and he didn't even actually do it.
Yep.
Yeah, and then he ended up killing himself.
Yeah, so yeah, that's exactly the problem. Yeah, I'm not for the cash bail system either. Like,
yeah, cash bail's fucking ridiculous. It's literally like, hey, you can get let out if you can get like let out before your trial if you're like can like pay this extortion artist, dickhead, bail bondsman type guy.
Yeah, that's gonna come creeping around to like, you know, act like Mr. Officer of the court.
Really fucking absurd system.
Yeah,
I don't understand why. And like New York has a thing where they like ended a like cash bail for fucking. For a lot of shit, and where we ended cash bail for a lot of shit, and Republicans fucking whine about it so much, like, they're letting so many criminals out on the street. They're assuming like all the people that get busted for like stupid shit are like violent criminals in the making, and we just got lucky enough to bust them doing other things that, you know, the people that they generally consider undesirable typically do.
Right. And how do they think that's going to positively affect anything?
Yeah, I don't get it. Yeah, it's ultimately because they're fucking brainwashed to think it's going to positively affect things. Or they don't think it has to be like a positive effect. They think that the positive effect is they're like purifying society of the thing that's been determined as evil for whatever weird arbitrary reasons they're thinking of.
We'll beat them into submission. We will beat them into submission. They will seek our will. No, they're not going to. They're just really going to resent you and hate you for it, you know?
Yeah.
Fear is a horrible double-edged sword to wield as a means of control, you know?
Yeah.
Respect goes a lot further with people, and it's actually a lot easier to garner respect than it is fear, because all you got to do is just not be a dickhead and treat people with a little bit of respect. You know, like, it doesn't take much.
Yeah, it's really not that fucking difficult.
But you know, who are we? Just some guys on the internet. What do we know?
Yeah, we're just a couple of internet yappers. Really. Excuse me, it's just not the most, it's like really not the most difficult concept though. I don't understand why it is such a difficult concept for what seems like a lot of people.
Because they are walking, talking prime examples of psychopathy.
Yeah, that's the truth to it. And then there's also like the prime example of people just being like extremely brainwashed. Like one thing, if you've probably noticed that the fucking Republican Party doesn't just have an issue with a cult of personality around Donald Trump. They've been doing this cult thing forever. Donald Trump is the newest like personality face that they've slapped onto this like onto the American like cult of the nation.
Well, Newt Gingrich was the big one. Newt Gingrich started that shit. Because he's the one that started a lot of the like that really aggressive rhetoric that you hear out of people like the Trumps or the Jim Jordans or those type. Yeah. He was really pushing that when he was in office, and that was kind of the blueprint. If you look at like the aggressive Republican political bent that happened after that,
Gingrich was definitely a big part of that. That guy was such a piece of shit. And then his successor, Dennis Hastert's a fucking pedophile.
Yeah, how'd that go? You know, what the fuck, man? This is horrible. Like, how do these people get in office?
Like, oh, the Democrats and the left, the radical left Democrats are all pedophiles.
It's like, how come your guys keep getting busted ridiculous for that shit? Yeah. Is this deflection?
Yeah, it's all deflection and projection. It's all the oldest fucking tricks in the book when it comes to that kind of like sleazy rhetoric and political behavior.
What amazes me is how much of the American populace haven't caught on by now.
Yeah, same. However, it's just the grip that the old powers that be, the super managed to keep a lot of places in, is just very absurd. Like, you know how many local offices around the country are always like elected? The elections always have like one candidate who runs completely unopposed.
We have a ton of those positions here in Arizona all the time. Yeah, I see them.
I grew up in Pennsylvania. That's what it was like. Now I live in like a more where like suburbs are becoming the sticks kind of in a part of upstate New York.
Right.
And like right on that weird little line, and a lot of local offices are run like there's like one candidate unopposed who shows up 3 times because he's the nominee for like 3 different fucking parties.
You're like, so exactly where do you stand again?
Yeah. It's like he's like not like there was one guy that was nominated. He had a nomination from the Republicans and the Democrats and some like weird party that seemed to exist for the sole purpose of him. Like the party was literally his name or something.
It's like, it's the me party.
It was very weird.
For me.
Yeah, it was very, very weird. And it was just interesting. And oh yeah, that's right. It was like the one guy up here in New York. We also have like, because back when Nelson Rockefeller was the governor in New York, that actually caused like a small split in the state Republican Party because Nelson Rockefeller was like a super liberal Republican. And yeah, Nelson Rockefeller was this like was a very liberal Republican compared to a lot of Republicans of that time period when he was the governor back in like the 60s and 70s.
Yeah, that's back when you had that like liberal Republican thing, and you had like conservative Democrats in more of the truest form. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And Nelson Rockefeller's like liberal Republican opponents were Nelson Rockefeller's like liberal conservative Republican political opponents within the New York Party, a bunch of them left the Republican Party and started their own.
They're like, screw this. We're done with this shit. We're taking our toys and we're going home. We're starting our own party.
Yeah, it's called the Conservative Party in New York. It's kind of it's got a bit of a weird history. I think they might just be Trumpists now. It's basically like Republicans who are like too snobs to just be regular Republicans or some shit. I don't fucking know.
They got to be like the extra.
New York's got pretty active, got a lot of activity from Working Families Party though, and Working Families Party isn't a terrible third party.
No, I think they do a lot of good work, and I think third parties are great as outside pressure groups to push candidates to the left.
Yeah, same here. The only problem that I've like had with how some people act about third parties is sometimes sometimes people do the whole thing where they act like what a lot of third parties are guilty of, where they just endlessly run some candidate for president who's like never ever gonna win, and they seem like barely focused on like local politics, or they seem barely focused on local politics or any of that stuff, like trying to like build like a better base by appealing by doing good things at local levels to provide an example of what they can do to like increase their national base and whatnot.
Well, yeah, and I mean that's I don't mean to beat a dead horse to death, but that's exactly what Bernie did, and that's why it worked for him, because he was able to get elected to Burlington. He did a bunch of good shit, and they're like, oh, dude, this guy is rocking. He's actually helping the state. Like, we're doing better. Or, Burlington at that point, the city, but they saw his, the ability for him to grow out of that. And that allowed him to go in as an independent, push a lot of his shit at incremental levels until, some of the shit got through and is now in the mainstream. It's on the tongue of people now.
Yeah.
And I think that's how you do it, though. I think you're right. I think that if you start at the local level, some of these third parties could be very successful, but they're not willing to do that, and I don't think that they've built up their organizing and infrastructure correctly. Prime example to me is the Green Party, because there is so much, like, I was listening to them during the last election cycle.
Critical of the Greens before. I barely even paid attention to them this last election cycle. What were they doing?
It was just tons of infighting. They were saying that Howie Hawkins' nomination was corrupted and that it should have been this other guy. And then the people that were for Howie Hawkins were saying, oh, no, this guy is like a Democratic plant. He's just trying to spin the same old, Democratic narrative and blah, blah, blah. He's just barely been a Green Party for, a short time. And it's like, dude, like, this is nonsense. Like, you guys can't even get out of the primary and into the general to like try to do anything. And if anything, like,
it's just sad.
Democrats and Republicans, they can have that split because there's enough of them. You know what I'm saying? Like a small party like that,
huge numbers.
Yeah, and a small.
Yeah, they can't afford to do that.
No, they got to run tight. They got to run together. And you can't have that. And until one of these parties can really get it together and decide on what their platform is going to be, and everybody buy in and agree, you're going to always have that. It's always going to be like that. That's half the problem.
Yeah, it's definitely a serious fucking issue that third parties can tend to have in the United States, especially because they're often so small and niche.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you gotta widen your tent slightly on some of these guys, anyways. The libertarians have been fairly successful, but they got Coke money. I mean, that's what happens when you have Coke money. And I'm not talking about the mafioso kind.
Yeah.
That other Coke money. I mean, maybe that's mafioso too, though, in a way.
It really pisses me off how in American political parlance the right-wing like anarcho-capitalist types hijacked the word libertarian.
Yeah, like,
because that was originally like a term used by a bunch of anarchists in like Catalonia and other like parts of Europe and shit.
Yeah, and to us it just means tax breaks for the rich and screw everyone else. Who's that guy?
Yeah.
Who's that guy? Fabian Liberty. Have you ever heard that guy?
I forget.
The ANCAP guy with the top knot. He goes on
Oh,
some of
why
the
does it
panels.
sound so familiar? He sounds like a jerk off.
Well, he's ANCAP. I mean, what do you expect?
Yeah, caps are always jerk offs. I can't fucking stand anarcho-capitalists. It's like your ideology is so terrible that like critiques of it end up looking like a straw man because of like how just like because of just how ridiculous the ideology is.
Well, I mean,
Like,
so I read up on a little bit of it because I was being a little hypercritical, before I knew a whole lot about it. You can kind of understand the gist of it just by what is in the name.
yeah.
But so I was reading a little bit from this author, and he's talking about having private arbiters and private police, and that basically people would just pay for their own police and arbiters to deal with disputes. And I'm like,
Right.
but you understand that the person that pays more money to these people is the one who's always going to be favored, and everybody else who can't pay is going to be screwed.
I agree with the statement. Anarcho-capitalism is like the fakest form of anarchism. There's really nothing anarchist about it.
There isn't. It's absolute. It's a fraud on the term. It's
literally McGovernment, McPiggies, McFire Department, McEMS. When you get like stabbed in the fucking street and robbed, but because you got robbed, you can't afford to pay the McPigs to do a shabby job of investigating who robbed you and then do absolutely nothing. In which case, even if you somehow kept enough of your money to pay the McPigs, they'd still do a terrible, terrible fucking job. They'd still probably just take your fucking money and tell you to go fuck yourself. And
yeah, because there's no regulation either, and they
out all that money. Yeah, it's literally like anarcho-capitalism is almost like literally just like the fucking mafia. Like
it's thinly veiled feudalism.
Yeah, it is thinly veiled feudalism.
We can all just be a bunch of serfs down here while the people with all the resources and money build. Oh, you know what could that? I'm trying to think of what movie that would relate to. Hunger Games maybe would be pretty close to an ANCAP type situation.
Hunger Games, I don't even know how to describe that type of society. It's fucking disturbing. That's one thing.
All I know is Kirsten Sinema looks like that weird lady from Hunger Games.
I forget. I haven't seen any of that media in quite some time.
So it's pretty interesting. I liked it. I like all that dystopian shit though. Like, if it's dystopian, give it to me.
I was like kind of indifferent about the Hunger Games. I really liked Fahrenheit 451 was a great book, and then Ray Bradbury even has like cooler shit than that though. Like he has a short story called All Summer in a Day that like took place on like human colonized Venus that was like really weird and trippy.
Oh yeah? I'd be interested to actually check that out. What was the name of the book?
And also it was a short story by him that he published in some magazine called All Summer in a Day.
All right. I'm going to save that to my reading list.
And another really good story by him is short story by him is Harrison Bergeron. If you've ever heard of that one.
No, I haven't.
It's really weird. It like takes place in this like society that's so hyper obsessed with equality that like people who are way too smart have to have like mandatory fucking like earpieces in that just like blast distracting things into their head whenever they're in order to like make them as smart as the average Joe jerk off. People who are way too strong have to wear like weight resistance bands around their limbs and shit. And it's really eventually like it's basically like there's this couple that's just like hanging out, and it's found out that their son Harrison was like some like basically weird like superhuman who was like living in some fucking who had to like live in some fucking dystopian like facility, and then he broke out, and it was it's extremely odd.
What's it called?
Harrison Bergeron.
Harrison Bergeron. That's the
yeah.
One. That was the other one. Hold on. That was the other one. I make lists for myself for stuff like this so that I can like go back and look. Because
have you ever seen the movie or read the book Cloud Atlas?
I saw the movie. I fell asleep during it. I'm not even gonna lie. I fell asleep during it.
And the way that I remember reading a little bit about what the book was like, and I was like, "This seems like a book that would be very difficult to turn into a movie."
I remember the cinematography and the aesthetic of the film was pretty cool.
We were watching it the other night and it seemed cool. I know it was like extremely long though, right?
Yeah, and I couldn't even tell you what the storyline was about now because I smoke weed and watch movies.
I know it has it has like a whole bunch of weird like parallel storylines that take place like hundreds of years apart and shit.
Yeah, and I was like trying to watch it.
The book sounds really cool.
And I was stoned as hell and tired, and I was like, I don't understand. But you ever get like stoned and tired where your eyes are like watering and shit, and you're like trying to stay up to like watch something. And you're like, I gotta finish this. I just want to get through it or whatever.
And then I end up falling asleep in the recliner.
Yeah, that was Cloud Atlas.
Well, I want to read that book, but I don't really read that much anymore. I need to reread Dune also before I watch the new film adaptation of the first half of it.
Yeah, I have a feeling they're going to do a better job than David Lynch did, even though I love David Lynch. He's one of my favorite directors of all time. I love everything he's ever done.
Cheesy. I've never seen it, but I've heard it's a little cheesy and not like the best thing he ever did.
It's to me it's like it's not a good portrayal of his craft or his work at all. Like, because if you see anything else he's ever done, like, it's like, wow, it's not even in the same ballpark of his type of. It's not like it's not even his type of movie. You know what I mean? Like, if you look at his other stuff they did, I mean, Eraserhead was pretty out there, but it had a sci-fi feel to it. But he's got.
I've seen that.
Oh, really?
I hear Eraserhead is some weird shit.
It's pretty damn intense, and it's all black and white, and it's one of those ones where as soon as I talk a little bit about the storyline, it kind of gives it away, because even like telling you what it's about kind of tells you the end. Does that make sense?
Yeah, fucking. Have you ever read the book Dune?
I haven't.
It's one of my it's like my favorite novel, not just my favorite sci-fi novel, but my favorite novel in general. It's really fucking awesome, and Frank Herbert was like really one of the best fucking world builders. He was so good at that shit.
Frank Herbert,
and the way in which he's the guy who wrote Dune.
I know, but he did some. He he also did something else. Wasn't he friends with L. Ron Hubbard or some shit?
No, if he was, I forgot about that part. Mike Lightyear is asking, "What are my thoughts on the Matrix 4 trailer?" I actually haven't seen it. I know rightoids have been malding about it, being like, "Oh, is this gonna go woke?" And it's like, remember, The Matrix is a movie that is a allegory about being trans, that was directed by two closeted trans women. Exactly. And they have openly talked about how it's supposed to be an allegory for being trans. I can't stand the rightoids.
Well, and you know what they get wrong? I hate that the Republicans have hijacked the phrase red pill, because red pill should really apply more to like communists and socialists. Like,
exactly. And in the Matrix, wasn't like taking the red pill a reference to a stradiol or some shit like that? I think in the Matrix, the whole like red pill and blue pill, the red pill being the reality pill was a reference to fucking estradiol or something.
Estradiol. I'm not familiar.
Oh, it's hormones for hormone replacement therapy.
Oh, okay. See, all these things I don't know. I always learn something from talking to new people on the interwebs.
Estradiol is a specific one of the estrogens.
Oh, gotcha.
And
so hey, you guys all took estradiol. How do you feel about that, Republicans? You feel you getting in touch with your feminine side?
Based.
I mean, I ain't mad at it, but if they are, maybe they should think twice.
Yeah, they mauled so hard about that shit. I'm like very interested. I'll have to like watch all of the other Matrixes before I watch that new one, but Dune is just one of my favorite works because everything about it is so well fleshed out. Like other like cultures with like different cultures within it takes place like some undetermined time in the future. Like they never really reference like present day history like at all.
It's just kind of where it's at in its own space.
One thing that can reference like how far in the future it is it takes place in this universe where in this future where in this like society, computers, like as they're referred to thinking can be autonomous thinking. Any type of like autonomous thinking machine is outlawed by the Orange Catholic Bible as a result of this thing called the Butlerian Jihad that happened like 5,000 years before the start of the novel. Which is basically, I'm guessing, was supposed to be like some sort of Rise of the Machines event. So there's these like, so instead they'll have like certain electronic stuff for like amplifying voices and stuff like that, but they have like interstellar travel and shit, but it's all done without computers. Like the role of computers is held by these humans who are like trained with the fucking spice, which comes from the planet Arrakis. And it's called Mentats, and Mentats are basically human supercomputers. And Dune just goes into like, it goes really deep into all the like absurd political shit between the like noble families of the Empire that Dune is set in. Each of them will like controls a bunch of different planets, and the planet that seems like is lame as fuck, but is really the one that like the richest families all want to control is Arrakis, because it's where the spice comes from, and the spice is what's used to like train the mental abilities of Mentats.
Okay,
and
I vaguely remember that. I vaguely remember that from the movie now. I do remember that part.
And it's also used for the interstellar travel. The interstellar travel is literally like done by these like weird creatures called guild, like the spacing guild does all the interstellar travel, and it's basically there's these spacing guild navigators who are these like weird creatures that are like, they were like humans, but they are like constantly so high on spice that they've like mutated into these like twisted alien looking things.
Nice.
And yeah, it's really fucking weird. And then they literally like, basically, if you can get high enough on the spice, it like makes you see into the future, and you can even start bending space-time, because the guild navigators travel like absurd distances instantaneously.
So you ever tried DMT?
What's that? Oh, have I ever tried DMT? Yes.
Sorry, I just had my Joe Rogan moment there.
I've tried DMT before. It was pretty fucking gnarly.
Same. They have it now.
Can you hear me, comrade?
Now they have it in cartridges out here. Like I've seen some people telling me you can get it in like vape cartridges. I'm like, that sounds dangerous. I mean, not in a bad way, and then I'd have way too much fun with it.
Oh, god damn it. I am getting, like, smacked around by these fucking monsters. Holy shit. These guys are dickheads. These, like, later story mode missions are really hard.
Mike wants to hear more about your Dune, the Dune storyline. He's asking me.
It's all sorts of, like, wild fucking trippy shit. Basically, the Dune plot focuses on House Atreides, which is one of the noble families in the Galactic Empire, and Atreides like enters into this deal with their like sleazy rivals, the House Harkonnen, to take over the planet Arrakis, which is supposed to be like a really good deal for them, because Arrakis is where the spice is, and this spice enables interstellar travel and all that shit. So.
Hold up, I got it wrong. Mike wanted to know about the DMT experience, not Dune. He says fuck Dune.
Saying fuck Dune makes you a blasphemer. Why would you say that, Mike?
You just got banned from Grand Chudgian. Chungian. You're done. You're toast. You're out of here.
And I break balls. But
just kidding.
Saying fuck Dune is considered blasphemy, and Jesus Christ, I keep getting fucking murdered by these like weird creatures that are invading this place I'm at. Yeah, I just exited that fucking story instance. That was getting like really annoying. I was just dying over and over again.
Bro, I don't know how you can do like some of these games and like actually still have a conversation and talk, because sometimes I'd be getting into that shit and I'm like, man, like that somebody will try to talk to me. I'd be like, huh, what? Wait, what? Wait, what?
Yeah, I don't.
And you just kind of like roll with it. You're like, oh, whatever.
How much time you got left? I'm getting close to needing a smoke break, but if you got to dip out soon, I'll just hold off on grabbing a smoke break until after you dip out.
Oh, it's good. The only other thing I was maybe going to do is see what was going on in Prime's Walk On tonight or bullshit. So that was it. Like, I don't have this is my midweek chill ass stream because it's Weed Day Wednesday. So
see, I feel that. I am down to continue chatting. Just I have a nicotine problem, and I like really need to go smoke a cigarette.
Hey, do what you got to do, brother. If you want to hang out, you're more than welcome to hang out. We'll keep the party rolling.
Hell yeah.
Rock and roll. Yeah. Take a smoke break.
Comrades, I will be back. I'll probably keep hanging out. I'll have the stream open on my phone to keep yapping to people in my chat. But I will be away from my camera for a few minutes. Oh.
Yeah, that'll give me a chance to take a piss.
To get some blood circulating into my ass cheeks, because sitting in the chair for a long period of time. This is what could get brutal when I'm sim racing, is when I'm trying to drive the car and my ass is starting to like get really like borderline numb, and it's like, bro. That's why I'm building up my racing endurance, though, because one thing I really want to start doing eventually is like competing in like long endurance races where I'm going to do stints of like 2-something hours before I like swap it out to another driver, because the event's like 6 to 24 hours long.
Holy shit, that's pretty dope.
Yeah, endurance racing's fucking brutal.
All right, we'll see you in just a few.
Yep.
All right, and you guys, I'm going to go take...
Yeah.
Apparently, he then started smoking weed, probably because of the movie, or because of the attention he got for it, But then he stopped again.
Yeah.
And, like, obviously, we saw what came of that.
Yep. There
is a weird phenomenon that I haven't quite been able to grasp, and I really have. And, I'm an atheist, so, I don't believe in shit. But I've never been able to grasp this concept of like why people who are former drug addicts all of a sudden become religious nuts. Like, I mean, it's one thing if you get a little religious or you find religion or whatever. I'm not mad at you for that. If it makes you a better person, great. I'm happy for you. But some of these folks become judgmental, religious nuts. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm like,
Yeah,
what
I totally
the hell?
feel that.
like, hey, bro, like, you know, you were a
I
little bit
wondered
more
if it's
Jesus
like-
like when you were on the drugs. Now you like hate everybody that's not exactly like you or whatever, you know?
Yeah, and it's like you'd rather have the person be preachy than dead, but like I think like when that happens, I've wondered if it's just like they've replaced their addiction to substances with their addiction to like preaching gospel to people.
The opiate of the masses.
And you know how some people are whenever they do something that they view as like having improved themselves, they're like, oh man, I'm such a fucking king for doing this. Fuck everybody who isn't like me. Fuck everybody who didn't do this thing. Like people get like that over buying fucking houses and shit.
Bodybuilders get like that.
Especially,
bro, you didn't get any gains today? Huh?
especially bodybuilders who like at one point in their lives were fat.
Yeah. Oh, they're especially like that because they got that weird like complex or some shit, you know?
Yeah.
Imposter syndrome. You know, kind of like an
Yep.
imposter syndrome type thing.
Yeah, and that's really common among streamers.
It's I mean, I gotta be honest, like being a musician, a singer especially, I have horrible imposter syndrome. Like I constantly like there's a couple people that like
Doubt your own accomplishment. You constantly doubt your own accomplishments.
always every day. And it sucks because like I do have a couple of people, they know that about me and they're like, nope, shut up, dumbass, stop saying that, you know, like you're not allowed to think that. Get that shit out of your head, you know. So fortunately I do have some good people, a good support system that's like, we're not gonna let you get caught
It's
in that.
always vital to have something like that. Always vital to have something like that.
But I think it comes with the pressure of just wanting to everything to be right, you know, like you want it to be perfect and you want people to see like you present something that seems competent and seems rational and you know like I don't want to say important, but you know like you want to be seen as more than trivial bullshit, you know, like you want to hope that you helped somebody or influenced somebody or at least, you know, got in somebody's head a little bit, you know, and made them think, you know what I mean? Like,
I totally get you.
So and you know, musicians likewise, it's so bad because, you know, everybody's like, and I've heard this from guitarists, drummers, like not just me as a singer, but like the whole gambit, you know.
Singer, that's what you did?
Yeah. I mean,
nice. Still do? Do you still do music?
If
When you can.
if the right project presented itself, I would. I don't do solo stuff right now.
Gotcha.
Because I'm looking for a good producer collaborator to do stuff with. But the guy that just did my new intro music was the DJ in my band, Jason Society. He did all the like samples and shit for us. And he's really, really good, but he did our intro music and I don't know. I told him I heard the intro music and I was like, man, I don't know. I might put some vocals to that. And he's like, no, do it. Do it. He's been trying to get me to get back in the studio for like 3 or 4 years now. And I just keep telling him, I'll get around to it. I'll do it. But it's
right as I was ripping a dab, Mike Lightyear showed up in my chat and says, I think it's time for you to both take a dab together.
Oh, shit. Well, I need to load a dab. Hot dabs. Hot dabs.
I fired up Galactic Civilizations 3 because Guild Wars is beginning to fucking grind my gears. Galactic Civilizations 3 is some fucking gnarly shit. If you're into 4X games like Sid Meier's Civilization, Galactic Civilizations 3 will be sick for you.
I'll check it out. I'm up to check out just about anything. I as far as gaming goes, if it's a game, I'll play it. If I don't like it, I'll just turn it off. The only one that I've turned off recently where I was like screw this game was Phasmophobia, because it started making my computer act all weird. And I was like I got a brand new computer that my shit runs like clockwork, and I don't have problems with anything. So I was like once I was like that was getting all buggy on me, I was like, no, not playing that. But I attribute that to maybe the way it was installed or something like that. Or I usually use
yeah, maybe.
I usually use I usually just use an Xbox extension because I have an Xbox sitting right under my computer.
Gotcha.
And that's on Steam, and I haven't loaded up Steam in forever. I don't even know. Not since the first Borderlands. Damn. The first Borderlands is the last time I actually like played games on Steam. And the Stanley Parable.
Nice. Yeah, Mike, yeah, I can see how the wood panel walls kind of make it look like I live in some cabin somewhere.
Hot dab. So what kind of music do you listen to?
I listen to a lot of metal.
Nice. What's your jam right now?
And I listen to all sorts of shit, really, but I don't know. The newest Between the Buried and Me album is fucking dank.
I like them a lot. I like them. I like After the Burial.
Oh, After the Burial's sick. I was really sad when their rhythm when Justin Lowe killed himself. That was fucked.
Yeah, that's some hardcore shit, man. That even makes me think about Architects. I got the feel when that homeboy died too.
Yeah, Architects is a fucking great band. Yeah.
Yeah, I listen to a lot.
I'm
and then
familiar with Architects.
I like that shit. Like I like avant-garde shit too. Like Dillinger Escape Plan. You know, like.
Oh, Dillinger Escape Plan is. There's some songs of theirs are like kind of a miss for me, but I like a lot of their shit. They were just so experimental that when a band is like super experimental like that, it's kind of bound to happen.
Oh yeah, you're always gonna have songs where you're like, "What the fuck was that?" You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But
you ever heard of the Red Chord?
No.
The Red Chord was this really brutal band from Massachusetts. And they were really cool, but they haven't really been active for a while. And what's really sad is their lead vocalist became a cop, and he's like a Trumpist, or he was a Trumpist. Maybe he changed his mind, but
oh, that's sad. That's disappointing.
It was just like beat, dude, fucking lame.
When I was hearing that about John Dolmayan from System of a Down, I was like, really, man? Like.
Yeah, it was like, why?
Like the whole band's political activism is in opposition to that. Like, because like they've gone and done like charity shows and stuff that are exactly the opposite of that guy's policies. And it's like, well, how can you go play drums for the band and do that? Like, if you don't even believe in what it is they're doing, you know, I don't know. I would have a hard, like, I don't know. I guess it happens though, because Tom Araya is supposedly a devout Catholic, and he was singing all sorts of satanic lyrics for Slayer. You know, so
yeah, Tom Araya is like super Catholic. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if he's like super conservative or anything, but I know he is like a devout Catholic. He takes his religion quite seriously. Now he's retired.
Yep, that's true.
Yeah, rip Slayer.
Yeah, well, I mean.
Like Jeff Hanneman died.
Yeah, I was gonna say Jeff Hanneman died. I mean, their original drummer, he's doing other shit now.
Yeah,
he's all over the place. He's in some cool ass projects. Actually,
yeah. Dave Lombardo's done like all sorts of cool shit.
Well, so I'm a huge Mike Patton fan. And he's in that.
Oh, I'm not that familiar with his stuff. Like, I've never really listened to Fate No More much.
Oh,
and I haven't really listened to Mr. Bungle much either, but I know Mr. Bungle is like very experimental and shit.
The Faith No More is excellent. Mr. Bungle, that's some shit, dude. Or if you want to get into some weird ass like trip hoppy shit, he did this project with Rogel and Nora Jones and Kid Koala and all sorts of people called Peeping Tom. And that shit is dope. It's got some really cool like soundscapes. Like it's like you could just smoke a bunch of weed and like kick back and listen to that shit and like trip out. It's dope. That's a great album.
Yeah, that sounds trippy as fuck.
But yeah, I mean, he's got like all these DJs, and the guy he's got the, if you look it up, you can even pull up stories about this shit. There was this meme going around saying that like Axl Rose had like the broadest vocal range out of any popular artist, including like opera singers and shit. And then I forgot who it was. There was somebody that did a survey on all these like vocalists, and they're like, no, it was Mike Patton. Mike Patton's actually got the broadest range out of anybody. Well, he's also a classically trained Italian opera singer too. Like the dude can do everything, you know? So, as a matter of fact, what was it? The movie, it was one of the Will Smith movies about like the post-apocalyptic shit. I think the vampire one. I Am Legend.
Legend. Yeah.
Mike Patton did the voices for all those all the demons in that shit.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that was all him.
That's gnarly.
So that guy's all over the place. He's actually really interesting. They were about to go on tour and he had to take a mental health break. I guess the whole like coronavirus shit really got to him, and like
damn,
they were getting ready to go. Like they were supposed to start their tour, I think, next month. And he's like, nope, I can't. Nope, like my head's not in the game and I don't want to do it unless I'm 100%. So
oh shit.
I'm like mad respect to him though for like being honest about it and like not letting people stigmatize him for it and being upfront. And,
yeah,
like,
exactly.
Both of the bands,
it's important.
Yeah, both of the bands came out and were like super supportive and like, hey, we really support our brother in this. We hope you do too. And like even saying shit like, if you know people with mental health problems and they're struggling, you know, don't be afraid to like, you know, give them the space so that they can get the help they need and shit. I'm like, that's cool, man. Like they're actually really using their platform for good there. I give credit where credit's due like that. Yeah,
exactly. That's one thing that I give credit to Sebastian Vettel for in F1, because he actually seems to be like, or in Formula One, Sebastian Vettel actually seems to be like a pretty chill dude. Like he
gives a shit in the right way.
Yeah, he is like a friend of mine sent me this meme of him recently that's just like, clean up Seb. He just, after a race in this year, he like went and just like helped to clean up trash after the fucking race. And then
that's what's up, dude.
Like the fans left behind. It's like, clean up Seb. Inspector Seb, he's like looking over some opponent's car because he thought they were fucking cheating. I forget the other ones. Yeah, and he like got in trouble with the fucking what fucking country were they in that was like homophobic as fuck? Oh, it was in Hungary. That's right. This is where the government is homophobic as fuck, and Sebastian Vettel like wore some shirt with a rainbow flag during like the national anthem or some shit.
That's dope though. That's the right thing to do. Hey, so while we're on that, hey, we've got a topic we can talk about right here. The AOC dress. What's your opinion about that shit?
Oh God. It was probably one of the less tacky things that were worn to the Met Gala, because it's like people are forgetting this is the Met Gala. Yeah. The Met Gala is like one of the tackiest fucking things on the face of the earth. Some people are giving her a lot of undue shit because it's like, she knew some guy that gave her like that like took her to that thing. She did not drop the $30,000 to go to that thing. Well, it's also a fundraiser dinner, but
so my understanding though, what I'm learning is that most of the New York political class were invited to this, and it's just as much a part of their job to maintain and understand the arts and cultures of the state and cities for which they legislate, right? So
yeah, it makes sense too. Hey, what's good, Eurus McPearl?
Talking
to a chatter.
Oh, go right ahead. But it would behoove anybody who is legislating for the city of New York to understand the art and cultures portion of the city. And maybe I'm playing a little bit.
That makes sense too.
Maybe I'm playing a little devil's advocate, but I think, hey, she was able to get in, and I feel like, see, like you, I love metal, even like some punk rock and shit. And like, that seemed very punk rock to me. Like, I got a very punk rock vibe from that. Like, she went into the belly of the beast and kind of just threw the middle finger up at everybody and was like, yeah, tax the rich, bitch. What? You know?
Yeah, and I kind of agree with that statement as well. The people that are like whining about, some people are like, oh, but it's cringe. I don't really care that much. There were like, just look around it. The way cringier thing was the person that wore the thing that said to peg the patriarchy, because it almost kind of like to a certain degree uses homophobia to like make a point about feminism, and it's just like, okay, kind of lame. And then she was also like, she had it written on what looked like some weird cheap anti-stab vest, and I'm just like, I forget who the fuck that even was, but it was just like, I was just like, okay, it's the you know how those fundraiser dinners are, though. They're so fucking tacky. That's what like, if I was ever in a position where I could afford to like go to those, somebody I knew, like some rich jerk off I knew was like hosting one of those things, it'd be like, here, you know what, I'll just write a check to give like that much money to this charity and not go to the thing, because I'm sorry, but I cannot handle being at these type of like masturbatory fucking fundraiser dinners where all these people are walking around in really fucking ridiculous tacky outfits thinking they're making some big fucking statement about some shit. And that's not even necessarily shitting on. That's not really necessarily shitting on Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's dress. Her dress was pretty, like, you know, relatively not super unorthodox, except for having "tax the rich" written in red on it.
No, it was
as opposed
actually
to
a
some
really
of the
nice
like
looking dress, and I thought she looked
yeah.
really good
Some
in
people thought it was ugly, but I actually thought the dress was kind of nice. But yeah, like, you know how those types of things are. People, especially like the Met Gala, it's like art people.
Yeah.
So there's gonna be really pretentious people wearing like really stupid shit there, like. And then in general, those fundraisers are such a fucking jerk off fest.
I wore U-Haul boxes when I went to the Met Gala. A series of sculptured U-Haul boxes made out of sustainable U-Haul box to form my figure into a giant triangle. It was wonderful. Perfectly crepe brown and everything.
Yeah, wouldn't that be fucking hilarious?
I posted this one thing earlier in one of my chats, and it was like, and here comes the dancing spray painted cockroach. Look at those high leg kicks. And it's like a picture of like a plaster of a cockroach like high kicking up the stairs at the Met Gala. It was so funny, dude. Oh, I was like, yes. That's all I'm waiting for, you know, because yeah, like you said, they get weird with it, man.
they get like so weird with that shit.
Just what I needed.
I mean, I'm not gonna say she looked bad in that dress. She looked pretty good in that dress. It wasn't a bad dress.
I don't know if it's because I'm very, very attracted to intelligence as well, but like I think that woman is so amazingly attractive anyways. So like I may have a flaw there in that like I have a little bit of bias just because I think she's a really, really attractive woman.
At least you're not Ben Shapiro where you're constantly malding about her and trying to like disguise it as some sort, and trying to disguise it where he's like obsessive about her and obviously like wants pictures of her feet and tries to disguise it as like, I'm your political opponent.
Yeah. But you're lovely.
It's better to just straight up
Yo,
simp
can you hear
for
me,
somebody,
comrade?
so long as you don't go into stand levels and start being very weird about it.
Oh no,
Then
if she's
like
wrong on
Ben
policy
fucking
and shit,
Shapiro.
she's still wrong on policy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
But you know, she's an attractive, intelligent woman, and I'm more attracted to intelligence oftentimes than I even am like physical properties, just because I got to be able to have a conversation. You know,
Yeah,
I
that's
got to
kind
be
of
able
how
to
I
talk
am
to you.
too.
You know.
Yeah,
And when I see and hear somebody that's so incredibly articulate and like masterful with their words, her rhetoric, and her positioning, which she has been, you know, it's like, why wouldn't you think that? You know, like, I mean, I think anybody who was attracted to females would feel that way. You know, like be like, wow, it's an intelligent, smart person that's doing good for the world. And she's physically attractive, you know, like she's a full package. I'm sure her partner is like
just
very lucky
anybody.
person.
I'm sure people who find them. I'm sure there's plenty of people who find themselves more attracted to like masculine presenting people that also like look for similar qualities in somebody.
Right.
The fuck is taking Galactic Civilizations 3 so long to advance to the next turn? Is it busted? What's going on here? Whatever, I can wait all night. I shouldn't actually wait all night.
It's the little engine that could. You can do it. You can do it. Can you cut somebody's head off in that game?
Unfortunately, no, but you can. It's interesting because like the combat is kind of like Sid Meier's Civilization, where you just like when fleets like encounter each other in space, there's when a fleet of ships like attacks another, it just like you can either auto resolve it or it like knows the outcome already, but you can actually like watch the battle played out like in an epic like cinematic fashion. It's
and
rather
like,
it's control the camera around the ships fighting each other and shit. You just can't like intervene and control them.
Oh,
and,
that's cool though. At least you can get
oh,
some
yeah.
sick ass angles on it.
Yeah, better than Sid Meier's Civilization, where it just like automatically resolves.
But you're lovely.
What is this bullshit going on here? It's better to just straight. I'm gonna try to save it, and I might just reload it next time. I just realized I have to work at 11 a.m. It is 12:50 a.m. This actually might be a good time for me to stop.
All right. Well, that's all right, brother. I enjoyed the conversation with you. We love having.
I enjoyed the conversation also.
We love having you around the Jason Society. Society. We get to do dabs together, have some drinks together, talk some ticks, and you know you're welcome back anytime. And I love sharing streams.
You gonna
with
keep streaming?
Yeah, I'll keep streaming. I might keep streaming. I might jump on the Prime walk-on panel and see what they're talking about. Something about nuclear war or something. Might be fun. See what kind of shit I can stir up with them.
Hell yeah. I can only have one viewer in here, so I'm just gonna set it up for the host. But yeah, thanks a lot for chatting tonight. It's been a wonderful evening, and Pickle Lime, thank you for the raid earlier. Everybody's come to hang out in the chat tonight. I appreciate you hanging around. It's been a wonderful evening. I'm gonna host Jason's Society to go enjoy the rest of his show for the evening. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Hey, thanks 100 Beer Bash. I appreciate you coming on with us tonight.
Hey, have a good one, dude.
All right, take care.